Many thanks for your company. Now, President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is paying a courtesy call on President John Dramani Mahama at the Flagstaff House. My colleague Gifty Andro-Apia is at the presidency now and joins me live on the phone with more. Hello, Gifty.
Hi, Ben.
Hi. What exactly can you report from the Flagstaff House?
Okay, so we're here at the Flagstaff House, and President Mahama, his Vice President, Mr. Arthur, and some other officials of the Flagstaff House here are taking the President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo around the building. They met, which was open to us, the media, and the President told him that he thought it was important for him to be taking around the space which is about to be his office. So he would familiarize himself with the place as well as with the officials that are here. He did tell him that there are other government government properties that are around, and he mentioned them and their location, told them some of the things that needed to be done to some of the buildings, and said that the chief of staff would add further information to that. And Nana Akufo-Addo, on his part, said that this is his first time at the Flagstaff House, even though he was, if you recall, this building, of course, was put up by the Kufuor administration, and Nana Akufo-Addo was then a part of government. He said that even though he was instrumental in the discussion for this construction, the construction of the Flagstaff House with the Indian government, this is his first time here. And so he came, they both introduced their officials to each other, and as I speak with you now, they have gone round the building, and I believe that he's showing him which offices belongs to who, so that they can take it from there after Saturday.
All right, Gifty, just a quick one before you go. Have you heard any hint about a probable name change? Because we know it was the Jubilee House before it became the Flagstaff House, or nothing like that has been discussed?
Well, nothing like that has been discussed. I do not think that it's part of the discussion at the moment. Sure. Maybe later, maybe not.
All right, sure. Thank you very much, Gifty, for those updates. That was my colleague Gifty Andro-Apia coming to us from the Flagstaff House, where President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is taking a tour of what will soon be his office. Now, former president of the Ghana Bar Association, lawyer Samuel Kudzeto, is asking President Mahama to render an apology to former President Rawlings for the way in which he caused the party an embarrassment in the just-ended elections during his State of the Nation address tomorrow. Mr. Kudzeto, speaking in an exclusive interview with Joy News' Favor Nunu, argued that the president's loss constitutes a vote of no confidence on his leadership and advised him not to be lured into running as a presidential candidate in 2020.
Farewell to us. That's part of the address that he has to do. So I don't see what
would be expecting of him tomorrow.
Well,
what do you think may be some of the cardinal things he may touch on, knowing that he's going to be leaving office?
Well, normally if you are leaving office, you will first of all try to apologize to people you may have hurt or harmed or something like that. That's one point you should do.
You think he should apologize? For what?
It is natural. You can never be in office without hurting people. Yeah, both within your party, it's because the party had put their hope in you that you were going to win the election. You've lost. Many of them had put their hopes for ministers, deputy minister, holding chairman position, and the rest of them. All these were hope they put on you. Now
they lost all.
They lost all.
What about the bit about the relationship between himself and then Mr. Rawlings, and what do you make of that?
Well, that is very important also, because I think he has so much alienated himself from him. And I think he needs to apologize for that, because he was the founder of the party. No matter what happened, nobody can deny that. And he needed to be accorded that respect. But I think a lot of the young people around Mahama had been rude to President Rawlings. And I think that is something that he should, on behalf of the people, should apologize to Rawlings for. That should be part of his address.
According to lawyer Kudzeto, per the 1992 Constitution, which prescribes 2 4-year term limits for presidents, Mr. Mahama can't contest elections in Ghana again as presidential candidate, but cautioned that it will be a politically unwise decision as he can only govern for 1 term, which will be a continuation of his first term in office, which ends on January 7.
Well, you see, the 2-year term, as it is in the Constitution, did not anticipate that somebody is going to lose an election and then will come back again and stand. It's an assumption that the person is president, he stays for 4 years, he will stand for re-election, and then the subject is closed. That is the basis for what is in the Constitution. So it is not an issue to say that, as for some saying that, is that, oh, when he can stay for another 2 terms. I said that one is completely wrong. It will not be correct. Somebody will even go to the court to go and challenge them.
Let's look at this again.
Yeah.
He's been in power for 4 years.
Yes.
And the 2-term limit captures an incident where you're in power for the rest 4 years. You then seek re-election, and the Constitution then provides for you to be able to continue for another 4 years. Here is the case of President Mahama. His 4-year second term has been abrogated, cut short. He goes back as an ordinary citizen, and the NDC puts him forward again. Can't he do another 8 years? If
No.
you're saying the Constitution allows for you
I don't believe that is possible.
do 4 years
Yeah.
and then seek re-election.
No, I don't believe that that is possible. In fact, I said that I will be the one person who will lead them to the court to go and say that it is unconstitutional. Because as I said, you have served already. You wanted to serve your second term, you were thrown out. If you want to come back and serve another term, assuming that your party allows you, assuming the people are magnanimous enough to give it to you, then you can serve another term. Because what you are talking about will be that, okay, then I can serve part of Mill's term, I serve another 4 years, then I can come back and serve another 4 years. I don't believe
4
that.
4 years as vice president, 4 years as president, now abrogated. He goes into opposition
That's
for
right.
4 years.
Yeah.
Assuming he comes back in 2020,
Yeah.
that's another 4.
I do not believe that that was the basis for the provision that the people who made the Constitution has put down. That was not what was envisaged. Because what they were envisaging was to ensure that we don't have this perpetration of people in office. That was the basis for it.
Now, Parliament has resumed sitting today with 2 days to its dissolution to make way for the 7th Parliament on January 7. The House is expected to approve a number of loan agreements, including an 86 million suppliers credit agreement for the supply of agri machinery and an $83 million contract for the construction of farm centers across the country. One other deal the House is expected to approve is the controversial $83 million deal with the Mary Group for the running of the T3 power plant in Takrady. The minority is unhappy with the several loan agreements the majority is trying to push through in these final days. Augustine Collison team is MPP MP for Ofinso North. He's been speaking about his experience over the last 4 years and planned activities for today.
Okay, so you're welcome to Parliament House. Today, January 4th, the House is resuming for sitting today, and then there will be another one tomorrow, and then finally the House will be dissolved the day after to make way for the next Parliament to come into session. Well, a number of items are on the table for discussion today, including a report that is expected from the chairman of the Finance Committee on the suppliers credit agreement between Government of Ghana and also the Rizal Windsor International Company, something to the tune of $86 million for the supply of tractor and other equipment that will be coming before the House for discussion today. There will be another report of the Finance Committee on the loan agreement between Government of Ghana and also EcoBank Ghana Limited to the tune of $35 million. That would also be coming up. There would be another one, also a contract agreement between Government of Ghana and the Atlantis Global Enterprises Company. This is something to the tune of $83.9 million. All this will be coming up for discussion today on the floor of the House. One controversial thing that would also be coming up would have to do with, an agreement between government and the Ameri Group, something that the minority rightly rejected to the last time that the House was actually in session. But let's have some discussions on what else will be happening today. The Member of Parliament for the Ofinso North constituency, Augustine Collison team, is joining us. Honorable, thanks very much for joining us. So these are the final days of this particular session of Parliament. For you, how have things been thus far?
Oh, thank you for the opportunity given me. It's been wonderful. You know, this is my 3rd term in Parliament. And interestingly, through the primaries in Ashanti region, it's been very hectic, but I have had the privilege of going unopposed for the third time running, and that shows the kind of confidence that people repose. I mean, they've reposed in me, and invariably, it also presents serious challenge, because if the people have a lot of confidence in you, then they demand the best of opportunities, the best of um, expectations from you. And I'm pretty sure that the kind of programs that I have put in place, and at the time I was a district chief executive in 2005 during President Kufuor's era, I had a 20-year program for Offenso traditional area, particularly Offenso North. And I'm happy that within the 20-year program, and this is going to be my 12 years, most of the things that I set out to do, I've been able to achieve some of the targets. Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So the House is sitting today, tomorrow, and then it will be dissolved. Particularly for tomorrow, when the President is expected to address the House. We're seeing that on the order paper in terms of the businesses that will be undertaken tomorrow, a presentation on the state of the nation by His Excellency President Mahama, which will be coming up tomorrow. Your expectations, on that and the businesses that will be taking place today?
Yes, my expectations on the President coming here on the statement is just a mixed feeling. I'm happy that for the first time in the history of my political, gestures, I'm going to be in power. I'm going to taste how it. I'm going to experience how it takes to be a member of parliament whose party is in power, and that presents serious opportunities and challenges. And I think that is going to be a great thing to experience. And then with the coming of the president, the president had the opportunity of serving this house 12 years as a member of parliament. And fortunately for him, he also had the privilege of serving as a vice president of Ghana, and then
eventually as president
eventually
for
as
the
president
4-year
for the
tenure,
4 years.
giving him very vast experience, and he's been to parliament on a number of occasions and all of that. Would you be expecting anything new when he speaks tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I'll be expecting anything new. So what comes to mind is in 2013 when he came to the house, the kind of feeling that he attached to the incidence of maternal mortality, and the fact that he and his appointees are going to sacrifice 10% of their salaries to invest in chips. I was expecting that he would deliver on that. But as a member of the health committee, and indeed the deputy ranking member of the health, I don't remember any instance of the construction of the chips compound to address issues of maternity.
So where did the money go? Do you have the slightest idea?
That is what I'm expecting the president to tell the people of Ghana today as he's leaving, whether it was just a mere propaganda or gimmick, whether he meant it. And if
My colleague Joseph Opoku-Gakpo had that conversation with Augustine Collins and Team MP for Finso North earlier. Let's go live now to Parliament, and he joins us on phone. Hello, Joseph.
Benis, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. What's happening on the floor of Parliament now?
So, Benis, about 3 minutes ago, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Ibo Batinodru, walked into the chamber. He will be sitting in place of the Speaker of Parliament, Eduardo Ajao himself, who is actually not in the House today. And essentially, what's happening now is that the prayers are being said, and then the various discussions will be held on the issues that are before the House for consideration. On what is described as the order paper, which is the outline of planned bills that they'll be looking at today, apart from all the other ones, the loan agreement for the 38 million EcoBank loan and all of that. There is the Ameri Power Plant bill, which you heard Augustine Collins in team make reference to, and it says that this is not something that Parliament should pass. The House will be looking at it in a while, but just a while ago, some staff from the Volta River Authority, specifically their Senior Staff Association led by their chairman, that's Stephens Buste, they walked into Parliament House a while ago. They are sitting in the public gallery. The indication that they give me is that they've been conferring with both the majority and the minority sides of the House. And what they're seeking to push through is that the House blocks the efforts to get this Ameri Power Plant deal so that then they will not get passed, because they think that it's not offered enough value for money. But then in a few minutes, the real discussions of that will start, and we'll see how it turns out.
All right, Joseph, let's talk about the numbers in Parliament. Do we have enough numbers to pass these loans?
Well, what I can tell you is that, in fact, the session was supposed to start at 10 a.m., but then it ended up starting sometime around 12:15. It's delayed for well about 2 hours plus. The indication is that this was the case because after 10 o'clock, when they were supposed to begin the sitting, a lot of the MPs were not in the House. Right now, the number that's present is less than the 275, just from a casual count, indicating that the numbers that have turned up for today's sitting are not actually on the high side. We wait to see whether there will be enough quorum to go on with the discussion, and the Speaker has just taken a seat to see to that.
All right, thank you very much, Joseph Opoku-Gapo. That's my colleague coming to us live from Parliament. Parliament is reconvened today to address some few matters before its dissolution on Friday to make way for the 7th Parliament. And so stay with us here on Joy News. We'll bring you up to speed with all that you need to know, particularly to the build-up of the inauguration and swearing-in of President-elect Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You're watching Joy News today with me, Benis Abubedi. We take a quick break, but still to come, National Head of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty, LEAP, Jigbodi Agbekonu, says the target for the program this year is to affiliate with the health and education ministries to offer services to its beneficiaries. Details right after this.